gone. It's going to be a blast. How could it not be with the fabulous trio of Beth, Julie, and Sally? So stay tuned. We have a great class coming up. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our moderator for the next class.
Thanks, Becky.
Might help if I unmute, huh? So a little slow on the uptake here. I'm Sally Jeffrey. I am your membership coordinator, and I'm monitoring the chat during this next class with Britt-Helene. And if I can, give you a little background on her for those of you who are joining us and missed this for the first class.
With the earphones.
That Britt-Helene joined Sweet Adelines in 1977 with the Telga Harmony Chorus, which was the first Sweet Adelines chorus in Sweden. And in '83, she founded Rönnega Chorus and took them to championships in, I had said 2014, but she said 2013, 17, and 2020, when sadly she retired from directorship of Rönnega, which is good for us because that gives her time to be doing weekends such as this with us. Her background is that of being a special ed teacher, working with learning problem children and behavioral problems, which, as I said in the previous class, makes her perfect for Region 1. And she's a voice teacher, a language and speech therapist, master faculty member, a coach, a vocal teacher, specializing in teaching voice, the mindset, directing leadership and communication. And if she's anything like what she was in her first class, I think you're going to thoroughly enjoy this one as well. I give you now Britt-Helene.
I sure hope that you heard. I was not the one who said that you were perfect for me because I'm a special teacher. That was you, Sally.
That was my own little joke.
my chorus used to say that, oh, it's so good with you, Britt-Helene, because you have such patience when we don't understand. So you are in good company then with the Rönnega chorus. This next class is something that I have created now when I retired from Rönnega. Of course, after 37 years, it was quite a challenge for me to find things that would feel exciting enough and inspiring enough. So I planned for a tour in the US. So I visited for 6 weeks in the Florida, South Carolina area. And then I went to England for a couple of weeks and then to Holland. And then I just arrived home before the lockdown. So it was a whirlwind of activities, and then suddenly, poof, nothing happened. All my bookings were canceled and everything. So I had to find things that was inspiring. And luckily, I'm very, very curious to learn new things. So I've done quite a lot of research this last 6 months. And I've been to several seminars and courses, virtually, of course. And I have put together a class that is called Love What You Don't Know Yet. And being a special teacher, you try to figure out how the brain is working when it comes to learning, and when it comes to understanding, and then when it comes to attitudes and behavior. So brain research has actually been a favorite subject of mine, and I can assure you that I've had a whole lot of inspiration from this knowledge that I have in how the brain is working as a teacher and as a speech therapist also, of course. But probably most of all as a teacher and a director, because the more you know about how you function yourself and what is really triggering you and trigger your behavior, the easier it is to understand other people and to communicate also. So without any further ado, I want for us to go to my PowerPoint here. And I like to share with you, and as you know, it takes a few seconds until they come up when the technique is working well enough. And I go here and I share, and I go for this. So welcome to this. This applaud you hear, it was the newest thing. My grandchild, Frida, who has been with us in the chorus for 3 gold medals now. She absolutely loved to teach me new fabulous things. This applaud, it was her greeting to Region 1. So, are you curious about what the latest brain research tell us? I'm waiting for some kind of sign. Yeah. Okay. The thing is, when you start to study brain research, it progresses so rapidly. So what is knowledge today can change so quickly. But so what I'm telling you today, it is what is the fact today. It might change tomorrow, because everyone nowadays in this field is very, they agree on the fact that life actually is a qualified makeover program. What we earlier had thought that we were kind of born into this little box and this is what we are, it has absolutely rapidly changed. So I want for you as an intro for this class to absolutely work up your curiosity, to start with a few changes due to the fact that you now know a little bit more about what may trigger you and how you can go further in your own development of your own, how you look upon yourself and what you think about yourself and how you act. And you might say, oh no, it is impossible. I am what I am, and this is the way our relatives always have been, and this is the way we are in our family. And I like to tell you that that is something you cannot say, because if you haven't tried it, you don't know if it will work or not. So impossible is not something we say about something we haven't tried yet. So the only thing I ask you, it is to try to understand a little bit more about how your brain is working and why you react in a specific way in specific situations. So check in now to this class. Breathe, take a deep, wonderful breath. Touch the vagus nerve and stay in the present and just enjoy the facts about our brain. Well, the brain, how it works today is it developed about 40,000 years ago. Okay, so no wonder that it might be a few discrepancies when we're looking at a model. If you just think about, well, we can't think about a car because a car couldn't be 40,000 years old, but a model that was created 40,000 years ago. And now we want and expect it to work for the model 2020. Although that brain was actually the brain of the caveman, of the man on the human being on the savannas, the brain that was developed for him or her to survive out in the wilderness, out in the savannah. And we are still in some way functioning basically like the ones on the savannah. For instance, with the fight and flight system, the system we talked about in our earlier class, the sympathetic the sympathetic nerve system, the fight and flight, the one who react to all the dangers. But the dangerous thing doesn't look the same nowadays as they did on the savannah. But we have a tendency to react the same way anyhow. Let's look quickly at the brain and how the different development status of the brain looked. First, we have the central nerve system with the spine and the reptilian brain, the brain that was created with the instinct and whatever we could do to survive, the immediate automatic system. Here you have some Swedish words, but you don't have to bother about them. But you can just see the different, or the reptilian you recognize, I bet. And then we have the limbic system, the system that our emotions, our habits, our memories, and then the lizard brain, the amygdala, the automatic system, that what is about survival, food, sex, fears, enjoyment, anxiety, anger, the limbic system. All this system, ladies, all these systems were developed already 40,000 years ago. And these systems in our brains are very, very rapid to answer to different triggers. They answer immediately, blink, like in a blink. But this part of the brain, the logical, the way we can think, the way we can really be logical and be aware about, to think like our cognitive part, it developed so much later, but it's also the system that what do you say, separate us from other animals, so to speak, and makes us human. So this blue part here is the latest part that really developed us into human beings, that we can think and we can talk and we can have different ways of connecting the earlier systems with the later system. Although, since the limbic system is so fast, we are kind of victims to that system anyhow, because it takes for us to be in the parasympathetic nerve system to be able to use our neocortex, the prefrontal, the human brain that makes us, the prefrontal cortex, the cognitive part of us. So for the when the limbic system is reacting, it takes quite a while until we have found some ways, for instance, deep breathing, to connect with the prefrontal cortex, to be able to use the cognitive break to think clearly. Do you follow me? Am I unclear, or is it crystal clear?
Clear to me.
Clear to you.
Clear to me.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Absolutely. I want for you to really understand this, the difference in between. So how come that I react the way I react? Yeah, it is because you're in the sympathetic nervous system and you are not in contact with the prefrontal. You can't think clear enough because you're stressed out. You're not finding your parasympathetic nervous system. But there are ways to go and to get control of this. The plasticity of the brain works absolutely fine, but it isn't easy. No, it is not. So if you think of your thoughts and your reactions like a motorway like this, it's easy to be on, it's easy to drive, it's easy to enter, it's easy to go there. It is like the 98,000 thoughts you have every day. It's almost the same. You are used to think so, and you think that this is the way I have to think because this is my motorway. It's easy. It's easy. When you want to think differently, when you want to change something, maybe in your behavior or the way you think about yourself, it is like digging out an alley in the jungle. You use a machetes and it's hard. And the first time you do it, it takes a lot of effort for you to do it. The next time you do it, it's a little easier. And if you repeat to do it many times, it can develop into a new habit. But you need to understand that your brain is lazy. Our brains consumes 20 to 25% of our energy, the energy intake, and we need to save. We need to, the brain saves energy because when it's processing automatic patterns, things you've always done this way, things you've always thought the same way, then it's easy for the brain. So whenever a change is coming into place, your brain is saying, oh, no, it takes far too much energy for me to do this. It's far too, so the brain is kind of holding you back because the brain actually wants to rest. I think this is a really good thing to know, that when you feel like no, this is not for me. No, I don't want to do this. No, this song is far too difficult for me. No, and that choreo, no, it's not for me. It's far too complicated. Remember, I'm 75. I don't do things like that. Maybe it's only over in Sweden we have these thoughts. Maybe. No, of course not. All us human beings are, but it's so good to know then that, it's my brain who is saying, no, because the brain is actually lazy and doesn't want to cooperate. It doesn't want to actually create new patterns. So for us to do that, it takes a lot of effort to change the way we are thinking, the way we are behaving, to another pattern that we actually know would be better for us. For instance, to use less stress. in our lives. And do you have any specific questions or reflections so far when it comes to this, or can we move on?
Well, we have a couple of interesting thoughts. One person says that, why is it that I have a hard time not eating candy? And Karen Sweeter says that, I've heard so many people say this pandemic is exhausting my brain.
Yeah, and it's keep that thought, Karen, about that, because the explanation is going to come a little later in this class, why we are reacting so heavily to some of the pandemic things.
There's another thought is, somebody has wondered why that it takes 21 days to form a new habit.
Yeah, and the explanation is exactly what compared to the motorway with the thoughts, compared to the jungle. It is that to create a new pattern takes so much more energy. And I'm not sure, I mean, the figure, I've also read 25 days, but I think the continuity of doing it that's why affirmations is so it's so really useful. If you create an affirmation of something you want to change and you put that everywhere so you see it and repeat it several times a day, then you have a much more chance to receive a change. But to receive the change to eat less candy, if there was a really good answer for that, I would very much like to know that. I think it's about comfort, but it's also, of course, your system in your body. That the best explanation I've heard about that, it is that when we are newly born and fed, the mother milk is both sweet and fat, and we really love that. So it's actually something that is installed in us that we absolutely enjoy so much, something that is sweet and fat. I think that is a wonderful explanation. I don't know if it's correct, but that's what I've heard. So can we move on? Yeah.
Yes.
Hope so. Hope so. So how can we then take the change, the steps needed for a change? One thing is mental training. That can give you an insight to find your inner advisor. When you meditate, when you go down in your alternative conscious level, you can kind of find a peace of mind and find ways to develop new thoughts and strength, mental strength for new thoughts and new behavior. And the relaxation, I couldn't mind taking this picture about the running a chorus when we in the middle of every rehearsal, we lay down and relax and have certain different programs going on. For 10 minutes or so, we have a relaxation part, and we may visualize, or we have guided mental training at that time during relaxation. And a lot of people say, but how can you get time to do that? Well, we do that so we have time, because when we learn to check into a rehearsal with the whole breath technique, we get focused, concentrated, and really in good shape for learning and drilling and be effective enough. And then in the middle of the rehearsal, if we have the relaxation, then we can be efficient for the rest of the rehearsal. And to be honest, most of the time, after the relaxation, the rest of the rehearsal is even more efficient than the beginning. So it is really, and we have done that for 10 years now. So the chorus definitely is in need. It's working up a storm if we don't have it, because it has been creating a need for doing it. It's a habit. It's a good habit. Because
seem to have been successful for your course.
Yeah, and we have done this continuously, and we do it the competition week. We do it every day. On the final day, if the time is so we don't compete first, and so we most of the time do it twice. And really take the time to be in the best mental status as possible. Because mental health and mental strength is exactly the same as physical strength. Both need continuity. If you think that you need to drink water and eat properly and sleep and so to be able to sing and be your best, I can just say, yeah, absolutely. And you need mental relaxation and to be in balance with your different system. You remember the picture with the homeostasis, the guy that balanced the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. And also sometimes we have this tendency to, but I'm okay, I'm stable, I'm okay. So we don't want to work on our mental strength and mental health, because we just not until we are stressed out and on the edge of a burnout syndrome, then we kind of wake up and say that, oh, I might be okay, maybe I should do something about this. When you get a rash because you are stressed out, or you get an upset stomach or an ulcer or headache or whatever, then you get a wake-up call that, oh, maybe I should do something about this, or lose your sleep or something. So don't wait until you get a burnout syndrome to start to work on your well-being when it comes to building your mental strength.
That relates to a question that has just come up from Beth Paul. Is there a specific indicator in a rehearsal that this relaxation meditation time is needed? Or do you just do it halfway through your time together?
Yeah, we do the check-in in the beginning to do the whole breath technique, to be focused, concentrated. Right before the break, in the middle of the rehearsal, we do this mental training thing. We do it exactly on more or less always the same pattern. So we don't wait for someone to get some kind of collapse to do it, or something like that. Or
so it's more of a scheduled thing.
Yeah, it's a scheduled thing that is as necessary as the vocal warm-up or the drill or whatever it is. But if you establish an insight regarding your brain capacity and your possibilities to use new patterns, new habits, revised thinking, so the more you know about this, then you have the knowledge. And then you have to practice it during relaxation to establish your competence, to be competent in this area.
Did your course accept this activity right at the first when starting to do it, or was there resistance?
Yes and no. Definitely a few persons who actually I did a little bit of the mental training class for the directors in Region 32. And my co-director was a part of that. And she said that in the beginning, when I started with this, she was a little bit reluctant because she is a very realistic, ongoing young person that is, well, let's get this done and so and so. So she said that in the beginning, she said that of course, if you say so, we will do it. And then it has developed. So now she is emphasizing the fact we have to do it, because she has developed that. And I can tell you, since my daughter with SALT has been a guest in your region on some shows you had a time ago, she also said to me that, oh yes, ma'am, you are that kind of you're always trying to discover new things and so, but okay, go on with this. It's okay as long as I can lay down and rest for a while. That's fine with me. And in the beginning, and then we were out coaching together in England, and I heard her say to the chorus, and guess what? I can tell you, you need to listen to what she says, because I figured out it works. So it is like any other habit. You might feel a little bit of resistance, but please don't just try it once and then come back and say, I've tried it and it didn't work. Because you have to keep on doing it to get in a new habit. So try to find the balance between boredom and burnout. I'm not preaching for you to relax the whole day. Definitely not. But I'm preaching for you to find the balance in between how much energy you spend on activities that takes a lot of adrenaline, a lot of stress. Stress is good for us. It's not negative when it is in proportion, when it's balanced with the relaxation. Okay, so let's go to next. You recognize this picture, don't you? Because when we sing together, when we act together, and when we are in a group, there are very certain triggers that our brains are very sensitive to. Certain social situations, and some situations trigger us far more than others. So we're going to dig into now, if you picture yourself in your group, in your chorus, there are certain situations that you simply can't figure out how come that I react so much to this, or to this, or to this. And it is triggers for the limbic system. You remember the picture of the brain and the part that wasn't blue colored, the other parts, the triggers for those parts that we simply can't control if we don't know how they work and why they work the way they work. So there's a guy called David Rock. He's a PhD from New York. He's founded the Neural Leadership Institute in New York, and he has created an acronym that he calls SCARF, and it's not a scarf. It's not that. It's the acronym of the social behaviors, the social thing, the triggers that is affecting us more than others. The first thing that actually, if you think of yourself in the situation of the chorus, the status, your status in the chorus. If you then go back to the savannah, that's out in the jungle, just think about how important it was at those times that you really belonged to the group, that you had the comfort of the group, and that you feel safe in the group, that it's a safe place. That as the status is really a trigger. If you come to a group and you feel that I'm an outsider here, they don't want me here, I don't belong here, maybe the director give you an evil eye, or the section leader say that I don't think that you really belong. No sectional leader say anything like that, but you might interpret her behavior like that. Then that becomes a trigger for your limbic system. The certainty, it's all about safety. On the savannah, it might be a lion coming up to the group and want you for lunch. But what are the threats nowadays? Well, what do you say about the pandemic? It's definitely something that is triggering our limbic system. Absolutely, because it is so unpredictable. We don't know what's going to happen. It's not the same today as it will be tomorrow and was yesterday and so. And this is really triggering our limbic system. It is really something that is so threatening to us. And if we don't know that, we might be a victim for it, because then we can't calm ourselves down and go to the precortical system and think more clearly about that. Well, I need to trust the authorities, the way they work with this, and trust how they can handle it. And I'll do the best I can do to survive and to feel safe. So certainty, it's all about safety, and that is definitely a trigger for the limbic system in these times when the pandemic is around us. And also, we hate to feel so powerless. The autonomy, the need of control. I can't do anything I can do what I can do to stay safe, but I can't do anything about some things that is happening out in society that make the pandemic just float around, and other people are doing things that I cannot control. So we hate to feel so powerless. Or when you go to the chorus situation, Karen, I see you there. I see you there. If you're saying to the chorus, now we're going to do C and so and C and so and C. I know you will never do that, but I'm just joking here. and you give out something and the singer feels totally powerless and have nothing to say about it. That is triggering the limbic system and maybe make her act like a moron, that you don't understand why she is reacting the way she is. But it's because it's out of her control. She can't do anything to it if she hasn't learned that situations like this is really a trigger for me, because some people have all of this as soft spots. Other people have just one or two of these different parts. Relatedness, a need of belonging. I want to be one in the group. If some of your chorus members is coming in and behaving totally different that she has been behaving before, it's creating a lot of different reactions around that is actually triggering both her and you, because you don't recognize it. And the need for belonging for everyone, the need of trust. I need to trust that they want me well, or maybe they want me to quit now. Maybe they don't like me anymore. And so all these social situations that is triggering the limbic system. And then of course, fairness. Fairness. Some people are really, really, really sensitive to that everything should be absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. And what is fair to me may not be fair to you. I mean, we are all different when it comes to interpreting what is fairness or not. So what can we actually do?
May I interrupt for a moment? A question has come up. How is relatedness different from status?
Let's see. Status is more like the ranking in the group. The ranking, if you feel that you are the favorite of your director, or you have a certain status in the chorus because you are the choreographer or the front row person or whatever it is. Okay. Or the relatedness, it's the need for belonging to the group as a whole.
Thank you.
Okay. So what can we do? How can we tame the caveman brain? What can we do? The first thing definitely is to get an insight, to increase your knowledge about your ancient brain's reactions. If you learn to know yourself and you know, why am I reacting this way when you are reacting in a certain way? And you analyze a little bit and get more clear about why you react that way, that it might have something with these social triggers to do that you are reacting so strongly. Figure out what are your soft spots. Are you really one of those who is reacting so strongly to fairness or to status? I have run into so many groups that has a divided chorus. The front row is one chorus, the rest of the chorus is another chorus. It is different status to be in the different, and they don't do anything about it. Then that is the way it's going to be. I mean, you need to do something about it. You need to talk about it, lift it up on the table and say that we are in this together. We need a front row, and we need a front row that is capable of doing all these things. That's why we have auditions and things like that. It's really triggers for a lot of people. So soft spots about fairness and status is probably, at least what I have found, some of the really tricky parts. And what can you do? You can learn to take a step back and talk to yourself, practice self-compassion. When you get so angry, when you fall into, when some of these reactions come into your mind, you can step back and say, okay, how come that I'm reacting this way now? Let's see. What might my caveman tell me? What is this telling me? I can admit that in my position now, when I look at my chorus, and step into their rehearsals, and I'm no longer the director, and I am no longer in the leadership, and so it triggers several of these spots a lot. And I need to talk about myself and say, I even dream about it. I dream about running around buildings, watching that they are doing things, but they don't let me in, and so. And it's my caveman brain that is telling me that, oh, you don't belong there anymore. Your status is gone, and so. And then I can take a step back and say, yeah, I see why. I see why. Because you have made a decision that is really, really huge for you. And you are really interpreting this with your limbic system in a certain way. So to talk and to be good to yourself about that, and take a deep breath and touch the vagus nerve and reconnect with the parasympathetic system and use your cognitive brake. The cognitive brake. Think about the cognitive brake, the vagus brake that we learned about in the first class, that we can really take a deep breath and hold our breath, and we can trust that the vagus nerve is sending us signals up to the brain system and makes us connect with the parasympathetic nerve system. And we can cool down and think more clearly when we do that. So practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. You are the only thinker in your mind, and you can be really good to yourself, and no one is actually want you something less good. You are the one who can heal yourself, so to speak. So this was one part of the class, and we're quickly going to go over to the next when we have heard if there are any more questions about the social triggers.
I'm not seeing any just yet. We'll give them a moment. People might come up with something. We have one person says, sometimes we are our own worst enemy.
Definitely. And when we, by any chance, have enemies, it's also good to know all this, because then we can analyze and interpret their reactions. You can think to yourself, oh, maybe she is triggered of one of those social situations that is affecting her limbic system. That is good to know, as specifically as a leader, when someone is anxious about something and it's coming up to you and like this, then you can, why is this happening? Instead of answering her with the same that you also get.
We have quite a flurry here. We have, does this breathing exercise substitute for physical warm-ups, or is this in addition to that?
The physical warm-up is to get your blood pressure, the system in your body to be activated. The breathing system is for your mental part to be activated, and your breathing system. So it works together, but not at the same time.
All right. And then is this related to the mantra, listen to your gut? Should we stop and try to understand if it's a trigger, or is our gut still of value?
The guts is like a warning system, because amygdala is like an alarm station in your brain. It's giving you an alarm about if something is not working well enough. So it is both. It is both. You can't deny that you get the signals. The thing that I'm trying to tell you is that you can learn you can learn to read the signal and learn to handle them.
All right. And should we do the breathing exercise before or after physical warm-ups?
Well, my recommendation is it feels more natural to do it after the physical warm-up. Afterward.
And then a number of people have said that they're relating to what you're saying, that it makes so much sense, that, you know, people have doubted the positive self-talk, and now they understand why it works. It smothers my caveman brain. This makes so much, this explains so much about human behavior. As a course director, I wish I knew much of this years ago. So I think Coastline and Hots are going to have a new perspective from their directors.
Well, I sure agree a lot, and I'm ever so thankful that when we started running a chorus, I had as a special project in my education becoming a speech therapist to give the chorus only positive critique and to record every rehearsal and analyze my words and my way of speaking to the chorus. That was a very learning procedure, I can tell, to be forced to do that. It was a good kickoff for the chorus and for myself. So it's all about getting an insight, and then to practice and practice and practice and trial and error all the time to try to find. But knowledge is definitely something that is often we leaders spend a lot of time to learn a lot of theory around the music, around a lot of things, but we don't spend enough time to develop ourselves, to develop the inner us. And so, because when we do that, then we can also teach our choruses, our groups, so much better. But I have some more fun thing to teach you if you are ready with your questions. We don't have that much time left.
Okay. Yes.
Did you have any more?
We're coming up to, we have 12 minutes.
Yeah.
We have one last question here. If you've taken the time to evaluate signals and you're still disturbed, do you share the thoughts?
Yeah, well, it depends on the situation. I mean, it depends on if you, I mean, I'm talking mostly about yourself, how you react to things. I don't talk so much about that you should analyze the one who stands beside you in the chorus if she has some social triggers that is different. That can be annoying. I can understand that, but I'm talking mostly about what you can do about your own way of reacting. And communication is always on the receiver, so it depends on what situation and how you handle that.
That makes sense. So I think we're finished with the questions at this point. So move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Are you curious at all what science says about maybe aging? No. Maybe getting a medal, winning, whatever? Or why not call it happiness? Curious, can you imagine that 1917, it was the first medical journal that was put it out in the States or in the world in the overall picture that talked about happiness. And it talked about happiness being an abnormality. It was an illness. 1917. It was considered to be an abnormality, an illness. So think about how far we have come when we nowadays talk about happiness as something that we just expect would be the more or less natural part of our lives. So you have probably seen and heard people saying that being happy, it doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It means that you decided to look beyond the imperfections. Yeah, you have heard that, haven't you? Yeah. Or happiness, the search for happiness is the thief sources of unhappiness. If you start to question, am I really happy now? Is this a happy situation? Then you start to question yourself, and you start to question your well-being, and you're looking for something that is maybe not so, oh well, it is not perfect. Okay, then I'm not happy, or what? And other people say that do what you love and love what you do. That is the solution. Science says, and here I'm going to quote this guy, and you may think that now she's gone really far. Yeah, I have. But this guy, he is an economic professor in university here in Stockholm. He is very different in his way of acting and whatever, and he is so phenomenal and so wise, and he's doing, beside his work as a professor in the Royal Economic University, he is doing a lot of research. And this little book you can see here is called A Small Little Book of Happiness. And this has been my study this summer, A Small Little Book of Happiness. What is actually creating our happiness? And I was a little bit discouraged when the first thing was, choose the right parents. Okay, what can we do about that? Not much, not much. But it can make us understand, like this guy, he says, I've always been so frustrated about that. I've always been quite low-keyed. I haven't been, some of my friends has been so joyful and so happy and laughed a lot. And I have been a little bit pulled back and not, and now I understand, when he had read the scientific reports, that this take place in your genes. If your parents are really positive and joyful, and so you have a better chance of being so. I myself, for instance, was very confident about this, because my mom, she always said she had a really, really tough life. And she said, don't laugh so hard, remember you will soon cry. And she always wanted to balance us children in being just plain, not laugh too much, not cry too much, not take in things, just be very, and you can tell that it didn't rhyme very well with me. No.
Does this book come in English, do you know?
I don't know that yet. Maybe I can figure out. It's quite new. It's quite new. But the thing is that this is fun. When you look in the mirror in the morning, about 80% of what you see there is reminding you of your parents. But throughout the day, those percentages goes down. So in the evening, you're more like yourself. Isn't that positive? Then you can work on yourself and on your well-being. So you become, or if you walk up and you just, your parents were very, very positive, but you can also make up for your own children if you're a low-key person to find a partner who is really positive. That is also something good. So the next thing, everyone who has a firm belief has a chance to be happier. And it doesn't matter what kind of belief, But if you gear to something, if you really believe in something, it doesn't matter what kind of religion, what kind of, if you're a health person, whatever it is, if you're really passionate about something, then you have a chance to be a happier person.
We have 5 minutes, Britt-Helene.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes.
5 minutes. Okay. Win before you compete. That is my favorite. And that one we have practiced in running it a lot. We visualize before, and we don't specifically visualize to win a gold medal, but to win the best performance ever. The quality performance with the quality that we are aiming for. That is a true source of happiness, to do that ahead, and then also to relive it, because the moment of happiness when it actually happens is so short. So if you can live it before and live it after, relive it, then you can gain so much more of the happiness. And visualize both before and after. Do that over and over again. Relive it. That is a source. Fira, you might have heard the running a chorus shout, Fira, which means celebrate. Celebrate. We celebrate several times during our rehearsals when we have finally done that choreographic thing and it works. Fira! Then we shout, celebrate. We shout and celebrate our progress. And of course, to move, to break the emotions with motion, to move your body, to do any kind of exercise, because when you get up your pulse, your brain works so much better and you feel so much better. And be kind to each other and to yourself. Just be really a kind person. That is a source of happiness. And be together. Just be together with your friends, even if it's on Zoom. But don't lose contact. Don't stop being together. And be grateful, of course. Start tonight with writing down at least 3, 4, 5 things you're grateful for, and do that every day. To be honest, nowadays, in this situation with the pandemic, I start out every day when I wake up very early in the morning. I lay in the bed and start to list what I'm grateful for. Because I find this pandemic really challenging, and I need to have all these tools with a whole breath technique, with the affirmations, with things to be grateful for, to be able to cope with this situation. And I'm grateful for that I have gained a lot of tools to work with myself and work my friends and all of us also together in finding a higher degree of well-being with both the anatomic things, with the breathing, but also with the mental perspective. And I need to move very fast through the last pictures here now, because I want to go to the very last one, because I was intending to talk a little bit about success also, but that's another time. How do we do it? We believe that we can do a change. We need to work on our belief system. We need to do that with mental training, and we need to practice. It's about It's all about the journey, not the destination. And of course, wherever you go, go with all your heart. Be passionate. Do what you love to do and love what you do. And of course, always remember to practice rule number 6. Never take yourself too serious. It's more fun. It's more amusing to have fun. So with that, thank you so much, Region 1. It's been wonderful to be together with you. And maybe you have some, I think I managed exactly the timing. But
Fantastic.
if we have some questions, of course, I'm willing to answer those.
There's one comment here that I'm really finding wonderful. It says, success comes in cans, not in cannots.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
exactly.
very good. Fira.
Fira, fira. Yes, yes.
This has been wonderful, Britt-Helene. This is absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
And I see that the link has been put up here for your feedback on the class into the chat. So please make sure you click on that and fill that out. Any other thoughts from anybody that you want to unmute and share? Or
yep, Sally. Britt-Helene, Britt-Helene at Scale Gensic. Please, when you have a moment, please give my best to Lars Eric and to Anna and Richard. Yeah, I always enjoy seeing them at convention and not this year, but please give them my best if you think of it.
Oh, thank you, Gail. Thank you. I will certainly. Yes.
Britt-Helene, I wish you could see us all standing and clapping for you, because this was amazing. This is a real winner of a class, Britt-Helene. This is wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And I want you to know, we asked her to do this, and she did this for us. She created the class because we asked her. She was her idea, and I said we want her to do it. And she says, "Oh, I'm going to have to work on that. I had the idea." So thank you for putting it together for us. It was the best. It was great.
Thank you.
Great.
It really was. It was awesome.
definitely what we needed.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
You too.
It's awesome.
Hey, Kate.
All right, everybody. So you have the links. I'll post a link to the survey one more time if you haven't seen it. So take a minute. I think, Lala, we're good to stop recording for now. Just break up the video.